This video was sponsored by Card Kingdom. You can visit their store by using my referral link in the description below. Drag to the Bottom is super good, very powerful sweeper. Not that hard to build around in this format. You do end up needing to be a base black domain deck, which is far from guaranteed, but it's powerful enough that I don't think I care. It's a bummer there's an Extinguish in the pack too. Extinguish probably ends up being the second pick out of the pack, but that said, let's take Drag to the Bottom. Hello, the thing upstairs. Thank you for the well wishes. Not really black cards I'm interested. I could grab a land, but there's also a Hurloon Battle Hymn, which is great removal and easy to splash, so I think we just take it. Okay, so don't love Phyrexian Arena, or, well, actually I do. Stronghold Arena. So I think we're looking at land versus Shadow Prophecy. I kind of want to start grabbing lands. I mean, they are pretty important, obviously, to a domain deck. I like Prophecy, but I feel like it's more replaceable than these lands will be. Okay, so here is a Rootwalla and a Flowstone Infusion, both of which are quite good in really any deck in their color, but the Rootwalla extra good if you're in a domain deck. We have... Artillery Blast isn't bad. I'm leaning towards Rootwalla, I think, over another Tributary here. Yeah. Black-green is probably what we want our base to be in an ideal world, if we're doing Drag to the Bottom stuff. Yeah, so I think we take another Rootwalla here on that note. And then we'll splash, Battle Hymn, and probably a bunch of other stuff, assuming we get the fixing. Which usually means lands, but we can also take stuff like Deathbloom Gardener, and I think we do here. It's not, like, exciting, but it's fine. It does seem like black is really being taken. I'm going to take a Sojourner here. Yeah, we're not doing great on black, should be noted. Maybe hard to play Drag to the Bottom. Flowstone Infusion's pretty good. I think I take it here. Could be red-green aggro, which isn't a deck that I love, but yeah. Hi, Woolly Mammoth. I'm glad you... Wait, when you say you watched the history of the banned and restricted list, do you mean like my whole series? Because that's a lot of videos. Black does not look open. But, red-green aggro isn't a terrible place to go. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. So, pick here gives us Vine Wall and Ridgeline. If we're going to be a domain deck, we definitely want Vine Wall. But if we're not, kind of just want the Ridgeline. And the Ridgeline's also good in domain decks. I think we take it. I mean, yeah, the Vine Wall is probably a little better, but... Alright, so we'll take a Bog here. We got some lands, so I don't think we're like 100% giving up on being a domain deck. Yeah, a bunch of lands. Lands being around that late is a pretty good sign for domain. It may just be that maybe we're a red-green domain deck. Something wrong with that either. I mean, I definitely like black-red more, but yeah. Okay. Another land, also Vine Wall, should we want one now. Shadow Prophecy is something I would like at some point. Vine Wall versus Radiant Grove is basically the choice we're making here. I think we'd probably go Vine Wall now. Crystal Grotto, Scout the Wilderness, Terra Asunder. Decent black cards are here. I mean, I would play either of those. But I do think Terra Sunder is probably just better. I mean, we do need to be black-green to take full advantage, but... Another decent, but not great black card here. Same is true of green in this pack. This is just not a very good pack. Yeah. Guess we'll take an Elfheim Worm. Could do worse. Alright, bunch of lands. I think we grab Haunted Mire. I mean, if we're going to play Drag to the Bottom and we don't manage to get black as a base color, at least having a bunch of duels that produce black would be useful. So. Right now, going to be pretty easy to splash Infusion and battle him if we're a black-green base deck. All right, more lands. Take another black land. We already have 2 tributaries anyway, so even more lands. So lands are there for us. I mean, they're everywhere. Black cards, not so much. And domain payoffs, not so much. But we definitely can get enough lands. Miasma isn't bad, but I think I'm just going to take another bog here. All right, another Sojourner is really good news for us, I think. Oh, yeah. That's not really a history of the Banner Restricted List video, but I get what you mean. Let's see. I mean, best cards in this pack are definitely red. We've seen that the last couple packs, I think. And Hexbane Tortoise isn't great, but we probably do need to just grab some playables. Number of lands we've taken. All right, here's a Shadow Prophecy. Happy to grab one of those. And I'll grab a Scout the Wilderness here. Yeah, a bunch of red cards. Most of them aren't great. I'll take another Gardener. I highly doubt we're playing, like... We may not even play any of them, but they're fine. So maybe we're just a base green deck that's splashing other stuff. Wow, that's a late strike team. Maybe red aggro is where I'm supposed to go. I do like splashing Artillery Blast in a deck like this. All right. I also like splashing Leyline Binding. Right now, we don't actually have a land that produces white, awkwardly enough. But we could get there, and we do have the Gardeners, and Leyline Binding is great removal. I also really like Urborg Repossession, but right now we don't have like an insane thing to get back. You know, we have okay things. Right now, our domain payoffs aren't amazing. I could take Outrider. I could take a bunch of Outriders, really. That wouldn't be a terrible route to take, but I do think Leyline Binding is good enough to take it here. We would need a few more lands at work. All right. So I think we take the Codex. Defiler's nice, but... You know, we need some win conditions, so... yeah. Haunted Mire. Okay, that fits very well into our deck. I mean, there's a chance we can't play these white cards, but I think the upside was worth it. There's also an Outrider, though. I feel like Outrider over Haunted Mire at this point is a pretty good idea. Because we need these powerful... We need payoffs, basically, for the work we're doing here, and so far we haven't gotten very many. Okay, so Niall is a really good payoff. We have a few blue sources. There's also a bog. Right now, we do need... we could run one plains, but we would like a dual land that has a plains as one of its types. But I think we do take Niall here. Alright, so here's a land with both types. I think we probably, well, I say both types, but white is what I mean. So I think we probably take it. Another Outrider over a Tributary seems right to me. Another Sojourner. How many 2-drops do we have? I think we're in a little trouble on the low end of our curve. It's not completely disastrous, but it's not great. So Snare Spinner's kind of on my radar here when I have 2 Sojourners. Yeah, I think we need a 2-drop, sadly. Oh, well, Vine Wall is a way better 2-drop. If I knew that was going to come our way, I probably would have picked differently. We probably only splash one of these white cards, and it's probably just Leyline Binding because it's so much better. We just aren't going to have the fixing to really make it work. I may run 1 Plains. I probably will. For an additional white source slash... Yeah, I mean, I think that seems pretty good. Drag to the bottom, yeah, that was first pick. Slimefoot Survey is kind of interesting. Don't know that I'm going to play it, but... There's several cards that are in our deck right now that I kind of hope we don't play. Crystal Grotto's not bad. I think we grab it. It gives us another white source. I mean, I'd much rather have a duel, but I don't think we're going to get one. So, another Shadow Prophecy. Red-green aggro and like red-white aggro both look really open. But with all the lands that were flowing, it was pretty hard for me not to want to be a domain deck. Like, if you're going to get them all, you know, seems like a good call. So, do I want 3 Deathbloom Gardeners? Not really. They're not a disaster, I guess, but they're not awesome. So, these 3 Gardeners and this Tortoise and this Snare Spinner are all things I'm not super pumped about. Rest of the deck looks fine, but I only have to make 1 cut. So having that many cards I'm not excited about isn't great. Trying to decide if I just put in like Artillery Blast. I'm only going to run 1 Plains, but that might be enough. And we do like the fixing, especially with the lack of white sources. But, yeah. So it doesn't want me to run that many basics. I think we are going to have to... I mean, we kind of have to run... Well, maybe we don't. We have 4 Tributaries and a Wooded Ridgeline, which gives us 5 red sources. That's kind of a lot. Okay, maybe we don't really need to run a mountain. I mean, being able to search one up would be nice. Same is true for swamps. And perhaps it's more important. Yeah, I think we do run a swamp. That'll give us 8 green sources. Yeah. So we're going to cut a forest. Put in a swamp. You know, if Arena doesn't freeze on me. There we go. All right. I mean, I think that works pretty well. You know, getting full domain for Niall, not going to be as easy in this deck as in some, but it is doable, I think. All right, so we do need to put 1 more card in. I wonder what it should be. I mean, we've got another Gardener. We've got a Hexbane Tortoise. There's a Survey, which would get us there on Domain. Basically, when you cast it, it's like, okay, you have Domain. And that's cool and all, but I don't think we really need it overall. I mean, we've got Vine Walls and stuff. So it's like Artillery Blast or Gardener goes back in, I think. I would rather play the Artillery Blast, but with as few white sources as we have, it does sort of feel like it needs to be the Gardener. I think we'll put the Blast in. I mean, we only have, you know, we have Sunlit Marsh and a Plains, but then we also have Scout the Wilderness and 2 Gardeners. So I think we can swing it. It's not perfect. But it's okay. I also don't love running 2 Shadow Prophecies for what that's worth. I'd probably only run 1 in an ideal world. But this happens in domain decks where you sort of end up in a situation where you don't have the best playables maybe, but the ceiling of your deck is really high. Because you have to take a bunch of lands. Yeah, I think this is fine. I don't love the worm either. That's true, but I don't think I love a 3rd Gardener either. Hopefully we can just wipe some boards and win some games. The sweepers with the Sojourner can be pretty sweet. Probably the best domain deck I've ever drafted in the format had the removal spell where you can phase something out that does 5 to everything. And I had like 4 Sojourners. So there were lots of boards where I could just cast it, blow up my opponent's whole board, and hold on to 2 Sojourners. This isn't always going to work out that way, because if I have full domain, it'll give -6/-6 to everything. But, you know, that's okay. No white mana, going to happen, but we do have some draw, we have early removal. That's fine. Battlefly Swarm. More removal. Well, probably going to kill this Swarm on our turn. They wouldn't have green either. Shadow Prophecy will help us get such things. I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. With Shore Up existing, you know, it often is right to just fire off removal on your... even instant speed removal on your own turn. Nice. We drew green naturally. Do I just want to cast Shadow Prophecy anyway? I mean... I could cast the Vine Wall and add to the board, but... Shadow Prophecy, well, they both dig pretty deep to find white mana. This will dig 4 deep. This digs 6 deep. So in terms of finding white mana, the Vine Wall is definitely better. And we do want white mana because, you know, we'd like to be able to kick this, we'd like a domain of 5, and we'd like to be able to cast our ley line. So I think we go Vine Wall. Can we find a white source in the top 6? No. Do I want to grab an untapped land just so I have less... I mean, I could grab the Haunted Mire, but it's not like I don't have that covered. I think we just grab an untapped land because we can afford to there. Wow. Well... You know, we did dig pretty deep into our deck. So I could kill the Lookout. Full domain is online. I can kill it with the Binding, which would keep it from its ability triggering. But we probably just pass. We can actually Leyline Binding and Shadow Prophecy at the end of their turn if we want to. So... I did play a land I didn't need to play because they would have less information, I guess, but that's okay. We're going to take 3 here. See what our opponent does. Alright, so I think we go ahead and remove this thing. Yeah. So, Essence Scatter is reasonably likely, as is Urtai's Scorn. Alright, that's fine. You know, Urborg Repossession, that's one thing we could have really used in the deck, because we can actually get back Leyline Binding, which is pretty sweet. Let's Shadow Prophecy now, up to 2. So I think removal and the Worm are what we want the most here. Another Shadow Prophecy. Alright, so yeah, we just play the Outrider here. Does 5 to them. Outrider's also really good with Urborg Repossession. We passed 1, I think, and I'm probably going to regret it, since obviously it's super good with Outriders and Leyline Binding, because it's a permanent. So, if they attack here, I think we just take it, maybe? I don't know. I think they're going to kill my Outriders, so I don't have an option to do that. So, there you go. I think we just play another creature here. I mean, it does let them hit us again, but we can regain life. And I think putting them under some pressure is worth doing. That's a good point. That repossession won't get it back that often, but we do have Shadow Prophecies, so it's not completely out of the question. Kind of need to kill that Wrath. Oh, good. Well, well, well. Not an awesome situation. This is what makes Elfhame Worm sad, is it trades, or worse, with all of the these commons. Alright. We are going to attack. Snare Spinner's kind of funny here. Let's attack with Sojourner, or Elfhame Worm. They decided they're going to hold on to that 5 drop, or their 5/5. So, we can kill it when it taps if I leave up enough mana. But I don't think I really can. Like, we have to kill Wrath before they start drawing cards with it. And I'd also like to gain the life. And then I can also play Snare Spinner. Maybe I just chump the Terror after that. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do this. Gets us back up to 12. Then we'll play the Snare Spinner. Oklahoma did win a game. I know, it's amazing. Our actual starting quarterback, when he's healthy, is pretty good. Our defense is still garbage, but hey. Killing Elfhame Worm here is not good for us. And it just happened. I think we just take 5. You know, what is this Fine Wall going to do if it's not going to absorb 5 damage? Okay. So we can kill the Terror now. Let's play this Grotto. So let's try to kill the Terror, and then we'll decide what to do next. Looks like they may have Shore Up. They don't want to cast it now, though, because if they do, I don't have to pay to. Yeah, I was going to say. Alright, no Shore Up to be found. Not really a reason to cast Shadow Prophecy right here. We're not going to be able to... I mean, I guess we could hit... There's a few things we could hit that would actually be useful, but not very many. So I think we just end the turn and cast a Shadow Prophecy at the end of their turn. So I think we block here. If it's a trade, we're okay with that. And if they use a trick or something... I mean, it's not really a trade because they get to look at their top 2 and all that, but I think still worth it, especially because we're about to go 5 deep and grab our 2 best cards. So, another lookout. Oh my god, do you have another counterspell? Oh, wait. Oh no, yeah, that's not good. Oh, okay. That'll help. So I think we waited out one turn. It kind of hurts. Like, if I had cast Shadow Prophecy differently, we could have been in a situation where it doesn't get countered, but alas. This is not a very good drag to the bottom, unfortunately, because it kills their 3-2, which lets them draw a card. I wonder if I should take one more hit here. Just to see if I can get them to play something else. I don't think they will, but I think it's worth a try. Play things. Play the things. Okay, that's a thing. Ooh. Well, this is going to be a pretty good turn, I suppose. So, let's play the Codex first. Yeah, let's play the Codex. We draw a land. Then we're going to cast Drag to the bottom to kill everything. They do get to draw a card, but the fact that we have our Codex now does soften that blow. Oh my god. Talus lookouts everywhere the eye can see. Feels like another counterspell. Our opponent's been jamming. They are good in this format. Yeah, another counterspell. Alright, so we've got one more turn to find a way to deal with this lookout. Don't love our chances, but it's possible. Yeah, that's not going to do it. We do get to draw one more card. That's not going to do it either. Man, those lookouts, they are really good. I mean, you know, this is a format where mostly removal is quite good. But Lookout is a card that really doesn't make it feel very good. So, got 3 spells countered in that game. Generally speaking, going to be hard to win in Limited when that happens. Three spells. Okay. Don't have any actual black mana in our opening hand, but we do have good lands overall and a gardener, so I think it's alright. Don't really love having a Joda's Codex in my opening hand, but what are you going to do, you know? I do want one, of course, but... This might be my most drafted format. It may be, at least in a long time. So here's black mana. Obviously, we want to go that route. So maybe we just cast an early drag to the bottom here and win the game. That can happen if our opponent's like blue-white aggro, which looks possible. Alright, so they're leaving mana up for something. I think we just play another tap land and pass. So things are getting a little sketchy. Untap Swamp off the top would be cool. No? Well, in that case, I think that means we have to play Deathbloom Gardener. The other option is we play Prophecy. That doesn't seem that good. I mean, the problem with the Gardener plan is if they kill it, we can't cast Drag to the bottom next turn, but hopefully they don't kill it. Hopefully they just play out, like, another creature. Unfortunately, there's a pretty good chance they would kill it. 4, 6, 7. I'm a little worried they've got Protect the Negotiators here. That would be bad. They are going to kill the Gardener. Not kill it, but keep us from using the mana. That's miserable. That kind of means we're dead. As brutal as that is. I mean, we're not completely dead, I guess. So maybe I play another Gardener. The problem is I have to block this turn, so I can't really play another Gardener. This is a draft that's on the verge of train wrecking here. Oh yeah, so we're dead. 0-2 start! Not what you want to do when you're trying to raise your Mythic rank. We've gone from like 353 to 503 so far. This deck has problems for sure, but I don't know about this 0-2 start. 5 wins seemed very realistic. My luck in the format has kind of turned on me of late. I was really lucky, though, earlier in the format, so what are you going to do? Had lots of flood outs and stuff. Haven't really had that with this deck, though. I mean, we've just sort of been... Game 1, we didn't do powerful enough things quickly enough. In Game 2, we got run over by aggro while we struggled with our mana, which is going to happen. Okay, this is a keep. I like that they didn't play anything. It's kind of unusual to see that when someone plays 2 untapped lands and doesn't play anything. It doesn't seem right. Okay. More mana problems. Boy. Okay, well, it's tapped, but it does enable Leyline Binding, so it's not like it didn't do anything. But still not loving how this looks. Even though our opponent didn't play a 1 or a 2 drop. So, yeah, this deck's not great. If I'm this worried. Alright, so we're going to block the Soul Tender. See what happens. Kind of hoping they would use a trick, but I'm okay with a trade. So, we're going to exile the Chaplain in response to its own trigger, but if they can blow up our enchantment ever, we're in trouble. This way they don't get anything, so that's nice. Okay. Well, it's kind of tempting to use Scout the Wilderness here and fill out, you know, get to where we can play that, but I think just playing the Sojourner seems pretty good too. Mana problems it is. So this time, this is kind of bad luck, you know, it's not just that my mana's mediocre, which it is. We're having like a whole different problem. Alright, Bone Splinters. I mean, I'm not that far from kicking Scout. I think we just play Deathbloom Gardener here. End our turn. Attack for 3, I presume. Yes, we can destroy this, which is nice. We can also kill him now, which is nice. We do have 3 black mana up. And the indestructibility trick is a very real possibility. I think we're just gonna play the Outrider. Allows me to pressure them a bunch. We know they can't counter it, so yeah. I could play the Codex, but I think we're in enough trouble on board that we don't have time to do it just yet. So Terra Sunder can blow this up for 2, and we can kill Aeron and gain some life back as well. Can't block it. Does have Menace. But the 4/4... Well... Okay. Just another Miria's Outrider is always nice. Is that where I go here? I think so. I could cast Terra Sunder, attack them for 4. I could cast Scout and Terra Sunder here. Well, I'd have to not kick Terra Sunder, and I kind of want to. So, yeah. Let's Terra Sunder and attack them for 5, and then play the Outrider next turn. My ranking hasn't really changed. I mean, I don't hate blue-black. I do just think it comes together less frequently, basically. Oh, that's not good. I was hoping to get them significantly lower on life there, but what are you going to do? Looking like 0-3 is a very real possibility. Okay. All right. In that case, I think we Artillery Blast Aeron here. And then just leave up mana for Battle Him. I'd like to gain life with it, but, you know, that's not the easiest thing in the world. So they can get something back, of course, with Soul Tender. I think we block. See what they do. Alright, and then we battle him the Bulwark. You need to draw that 5th land pretty desperately. My god. So, Vine Wall into... No planes here. Oh, we already have one in play, actually. Getting an untapped land would let me cast Scout the Wilderness. That seems alright. We need to get our mana rolling here. We do not have double black yet, right? No, actually we do. And we've got white. We have everything we could ever want. So I think we just grab another forest. Okay. So let's play an Outrider here. We're going to get something back with Eerie Soul Tender, and if I had to guess, it's probably I don't know what it will be, actually. Maybe the other flyer? No, Aeron, that makes sense. I suppose that makes sense. Do I try to block this Griffin Protector if it attacks me as a 3/4? Well, now it doesn't matter. Well, guess we just play Sojourner and pass. I can't believe this deck's going to be an 0-3. I've had so many underachieving decks lately. And this deck is not great by any stretch. So, you know, I mean, the probability of going 0-3 is higher when your deck's not that good, but man. We had to work very hard just to get to 5 mana in this game, which was brutal. This could go very badly, but obviously we have to block or we're dead, so it doesn't really matter. So, pretty sure they have a trick. Why wouldn't they, you know? Why wouldn't they have the thing that makes what I did irrelevant? Ugh. Brutal. That was brutal. Lately, when I've streamed, the drafts have not gone super well. I think last weekend I had 2 and 3s, which is still better than today, but... So we dropped from like 350 to 550 in that draft. Which is, you know, what's going to happen when you go 0-3.